I have just attended the Everything Electric Australia Expo, held in Sydney at Olympic Park. This expo showcased home energy and electric vehicles. A good place to see the state of maturity of electric vehicles and EV infrastructure in Australia. Hi, I'm John. What interested me at the expo was anything around road trips and camping in an EV. There was plenty to see at the expo, with test drives of EVs and test tracks for two-wheeled vehicles. In one of the theatres was an open discussion by a panel on how to make long-distance road trips a reality. There were basically two main points that came out of that discussion. Firstly, there is a mindset shift on the way you travel on a road trip. Typically, you drive a leg to a lower percentage. That is, finishing your drive with, say, 10% or less charge. Also, you take any opportunity to charge. Always be charging if you can when you're stopped. When driving long distances, there may be some road trip planning required. So planning the routes, planning where to charge and for how long. Everything should be planned to some degree. You don't want your family stranded, and you also want to minimise charging time during the day. Basics of planning is also checking the availability of the charger along your track, and also what is your plan B. The Tesla supercharger network is always available, but at other places the charger may be occupied by other drivers or it may be out of service. So plan for option 1 and also an option 2. If available, use remote monitoring capability of the charging network, and as you approach you can see the status. Which brings us to the second main point, which was around infrastructure. EV drivers are early adopters, and charger facilities have tended to be out the back of service stations with no shade or cover from the rain. This is changing quickly. The Tesla supercharger network is the gold standard. Ultimately, you want to be happy and safe at charging stations. The panel also had a discussion around constraints on charging infrastructure. With 150,000 EVs added last year in Australia, the demand for charging facilities is growing. But the rollout of charging facilities has not been fast enough. Generally, the energy network is not set up for the power demands of EVs. In fact, the biggest delay in setting up a charging site is the wait on energy to be made available. There is a large pipeline of chargers to be added in Australia. The pipeline is, however, 12 to 18 months in some cases, mostly waiting on energy to become available to the site. Idle fees that kick in after 5 or 10 minutes grace period should be introduced more broadly, similar to what the Tesla supercharger network has today. Perhaps introduce a queuing system. You join the virtual queue and your EV is locked into the sequence. Once your charging slot is free, you have a 5 or 10 minute window to connect to charging, or you forfeit your position. So, good news, the ability to do long distance road trips is getting better and better all the time. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.